this is about the $450,000 that Biden is trying to get. I can't say Biden because it's not. He's an old doddering man that has no idea what he's talking about. The Biden administration, whoever is making the decisions, right? Anyway, they're trying to give taxpayer dollars, $450,000 to families, each family, not just the sum total $450,000. It's $450,000 to the families of people who came over illegally. Anyway, let's blast them with the GOP here. They blast Biden for $450,000 per person payout to illegal immigrant families. Republican lawmakers are blasting reports that the Biden administration is discussing paying almost $500,000 per person to illegal immigrants who were separated from their families at the southern border during the Trump administration, calling it insane, unacceptable, and a slap in the face. Okay, so I looked into it a little bit, and Trump was facing a lot of ridicule back in 2017, 2018. It really was 2018 when it was peaking as far as the ridicule that he was receiving for this. Parents were being arrested for coming over illegally, and their kids couldn't go into jail with them. So what choice did you have, right? To arrest them or like let them go? That's what his arguments were. That's like, look, we can't have open borders. If we have open borders, they're just going to flood in and ruin Americans' jobs, and you know, we need borders, right? We have to have legal immigration. I'm all for legal immigration. Let me just add that real quick. I'm all for legal immigration. I, in fact, spent thousands of dollars so that my wife could legally live in America with me. She happens to be Swedish, so she couldn't live here. We couldn't actually stay together because of that. And so now I'm seeing these people that are coming over, and it's frustrating because I went through the legal means to allow me to be with my wife. And that's, you know, I'm all about legal immigration. People come here legally all the time, and that's cool. I mean, America was essentially grew out of legal immigration. I'm sure it grew out of illegal immigration as well, but you know, then and I'm going to actually get into some of the negative sides of that in a little bit. I just want to focus on this first. So Trump was basically saying we can't have open borders, and there needs to be some repercussions for coming over illegally, or people will just start pouring over. Well, a lot of these people were coming over with young kids, and they were the kids in cages, and that's really where it started becoming weaponized against Trump, because he was separating them to arrest the parents, and the kids were being kept in the detention centers that Obama built and Joe Biden built when he was vice president. Who built the cages, Joe? A classic line by President Trump. But I mean, so look, I get it. It's a shitty situation, with lack of better word. It really is. That's the reality of it. It's a terrible situation. So the way that Obama was treating it as a civil court case, instead of making it like you're being arrested because you did something illegal, they're saying, hey, you did something wrong. You have to show up to court. Please show up to court. But the reality is, a lot of these people didn't show up for court. They would be like, okay, and then escape into the country because they were here illegally anyway. What did it matter? It didn't matter to them. They were just coming in, and because they weren't actually getting in trouble, they were told, hey, you've got to show up. My guitar's falling over. Hey, you got to show up for court, so please do. Thank you. Okay, well, it wasn't really working. All right, so you have to understand there's some, it's kind of like tough love is better than being completely smothered. And like, you know, having two parents in the family, I'm probably going to get some flack for this, but I don't care. Having two parents in the family, the mother is the nurturer, the father is like the tough love, teach you that life sucks and to get up after you bruise your knee. You know, that's traditionally, right? Traditionally, that's the way it works. And a lot of the problems of society, I believe, has a lot to do with the fact that isn't the normal anyway, or anymore. And this $450,000, that's the smothering. That's them snow plowing in front instead of facing a harsh reality as you came here illegally. You shouldn't have. You put your kids in cages. You did. You came here when you shouldn't have come here, and you put yourself in that, you put your kids in that situation, that is 100% on you. That's not Trump's fault. Trump was trying to protect America, and I'm okay with that. Again, I'm for legal migration, immigration. Come here, immigrate here. I love that. Make America, the melting pot it was once known as. Because certainly the Democrats are trying to not have us blend together as Americans together, right? Which is what I was raised as. It didn't matter what skin color you were American. And you should be proud to be America because everyone has an equal opportunity to make it here. And that's why people want to come here. There's a reason they want to come here, but if you come here illegally and you get arrested for it and you bring small children, young children, it's on you, parents, the parents that are coming here. Look, but it's a harsh reality because I don't blame them. It is amazing here. But this $450,000 is taxpayer dollars that I don't want my tax. If I get to choose where my tax going, it's not going to these illegal immigrants. No, definitely. I'd rather it go to legal immigration. I'd rather go to schools that actually teach proper education instead of the 1619 project that they're trying to push as some sort of truth law in these schools, or critical race theory, teaching that we need to look at each other's race and acknowledge that we're a different race and we are treated differently. No. We treat everyone the same. Meritocracy rules. Like, that's what I want taught. That's what I would like my taxpayers, my tax money going. Anyway, let's finish this out. First reported by the Wall Street Journal on Thursday, the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and Health and Human Services are considering the payments in order to settle lawsuits filed by the American Civil Liberties Union and others on behalf of families who crossed into the U.S. from Mexico illegally seeking asylum. The families were separated under former President Donald Trump's zero-tolerance policy back in 2018. While the average demand for each lawsuit amounts to around $3.4 million per family, the Biden administration is considering $450,000 per person, around $1 million per family. Republicans, many of whom supported Trump's immigration policies, took to Twitter to lambast the potential payouts. Insanity. Rewarding illegal immigrants with hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars is the ultimate insult to law-abiding citizens. Representative Steve Womack, a Republican from Arkansas, wrote, "I agree. It is an insult to law-abiding citizens." That's right there, that line. It's an insult to law-abiding citizens. That can be applied to so much. First thing on top of my head, gun control. Right? Because it's the law-abiding citizens that aren't the problem with gun control. But those are the people that will be hit the hardest with gun control. It's the people that are causing all these gun crimes, they're not owning these guns legally. They're not following trigger discipline. They're not following how to, look at, you bring up Alec Baldwin, but these people have no idea what they're doing with guns. Always check to see if it's unloaded. Then check again. Then check a third time. And then never point it at someone unless you want to actually hurt them, period. Alec Baldwin talking about you. Anyway, gun control is not about the law-abiding citizens. This is an insult to the law-abiding citizens. Same thing. President Biden wants to send the IRS to surveil your bank accounts while cutting checks with your money to people who've broken our laws. Wow. It's another great point. If you have over $600 in your bank account, the IRS wants to watch what you're doing with your money to make sure that you're paying the appropriate amount of taxes. Wow. How is that not government overreach? Huh? That's crazy. That's Big Brother. That's 1984 coming true. They want to control the media. They want to control what you do with your money. They want to control your children. That's the biggest part. And we're going to talk about Loudoun County in a second. But this is insane. And then they want to give your money to people who came here illegally. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy echoed Womack's sentiments, calling it a slap in the face. Pure insanity. The Biden administration is reportedly looking at paying $450,000 to illegal immigrants who knowingly broke the law, he tweeted. It's a slap in the face to our law-abiding citizens who wake up, go to work, and pay their taxes. Agreed. Agreed. Former Vice President Mike Pence. Oh, this guy. Anyway, I've got my... I just got to say, shame on you, Mike Pence, for not standing firm on January 6th to make sure that evidence was seen. At least force the evidence to have been seen. That's what people were protesting. I'm not talking about the people that went inside. Those people were idiots, okay? I'm talking about the people that were peacefully protesting outside, okay? Shame on you, Mike Pence, for not demanding that at least the evidence be seen before accepting the votes, because that's on you, sir. Anyway, Mike Pence said some things. I don't care. I'm skipping that. Blah, blah, blah. Mike Pence, I don't care. More lawmakers chimed in Thursday night. It's unthinkable to pay a burglar who broke into your home for the psychological trauma they endured during the crime. Tom Cotton tweeted, yet the Biden admin wants to reward migrants who illegally entered our country with up to $450,000 each just for that reason. Insanity. That's a good way of putting it, because they are suing for psychological trauma. But again, I made this point earlier. The parents did that to their kids. The parents put those kids in that situation by coming here illegally. You can seek asylum in America. That's fine. You have to do it legally. And I want you to be able to. I want people who need asylum in America to legally be able to do that. Yes, of course. But when you come here illegally and you try to come into the country illegally, that's on you. You're taking that risk. That's you making the choice to take that risk, to do it illegally. Okay, so you made the choice. Now you get arrested for it, and guess what? You had your child with you. That's on you to put your kid in that situation. You made the psychological trauma to your kids. That's on you, 100%. Dan Crenshaw also slammed the report's payments, comparing the payments sent to families as a relative after a relative is killed in action. Yeah, that's right. He says here, Biden wants to pay illegal immigrants $450,000 for their hardship while breaking our laws. For perspective, if a service member is killed in action, their next of kin gets an insurance payment of $400,000. Let that sink in. So if a service member dies serving us, that's what they do. They serve us. The military, if someone gives their time of their life to the military, they're serving me. A taxpayer, an American citizen, they're serving me. That's why I try to thank them for their service every single time I see someone who's serving. You might have seen me in the airport. Anytime I see a military member in the airport, I walk up to them, thank you for your service. I appreciate you. Every single time. Because they are serving us. If they die in the line of duty, they get less money than these illegal immigrants who put their children in that situation themselves. They get paid more. It's kind of ridiculous. It is absolutely an insult. Others hope the Journal's report was in error. I just about fell out of my chair when reading this. Lindsey Graham, for whether or not you like Lindsey Graham, I have my reservations. For the sake of our country, I hope this reporting is in error. This would be an outrage. Well, he's right there at least. Doug Lamborn, Republican from Colorado, noted the extreme difference in the $450,000 payments compared to the $1,300 stimulus check sent to Americans during the coronavirus pandemic, slamming Biden's priorities. That is a good point. Americans in need, when the government locked them down for a year, 15 days to slow the spread. Sure, right. Well, how many days are we on? I mean, sure, the economy is open now, minus the whole mandates causing a ruckus and the shipping containers being stuck out in the ocean, just sitting there. Lots of different things. They gave Americans $1,300 stimulus. Wow, cool. Awesome. So now you're trying to pay these people who did it to themselves, came here illegally. It's frustrating. He also, who else? He goes, which is more than the 9/11 victims' compensation fund. This is just, it is unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. All right. Now, I want to show you guys a little video. Okay, this is from the whitehouse.gov. This is an interview, and Peter Doocy, of course, Doocy's the only one asking questions. It's the only one that is allowed to ask hard-hitting questions because they get all the softballs up until this point. Here's Peter Doocy asking about this exact thing.
Is there any kind of discussion about giving people who are coming here the right way money?
Why would we be giving people who are coming here the right way money?
Why are you giving people who came here the wrong way?
I mean,
Is there any discussion to give people who came here the right way money? Well, why would we give money to the people who came here the right way? And then his response is just so chef's kiss. Well, why are you giving people money who came here the wrong way? Huh?
I don't understand the question. What is you're saying that we should give people just money who are coming through? I don't understand the question.
You're giving people who immigrated here illegally money.
You're giving people who came here illegally money.
Like I said, that's the Department of Justice. You're going to have to ask them that question.
Is there any kind?
And he actually responds, and I have the very next response. I can't play this. This is CBS, and they don't like me playing their stuff. But they say here, she responds with, or Doocy says, I did ask them, and they gave me no comment, so I am forced to ask you. Why? Give taxpayer money to people who broke federal law to get here. And of course, it's Trump's fault. One of the things that we have to remember why we're in this place is that we're here today is because we had an administration that had an inhumane, immoral policy. That is blaming these people, or blaming Trump instead of blaming the people for coming here. It is their fault. It's their responsibility for coming here. Look, I want you to be able to seek asylum, hands down, absolutely, for sure. But we don't know that everyone's coming across the border is safe to come across the border. We don't know if they're cartels. We don't know if the Taliban is sending people. We were accepting Afghan immigrants as well by the plane loads while leaving Americans behind. Now we have an ISIS threat on Washington, D.C., and they're locking it down. I don't know if you've heard about this. Okay? We don't know who's coming across the border, and that's the problem. We can't just let anyone come in. We need to know if it's safe for people to come in or not. We need to protect American citizens. Again, I want people to be able to come here and seek asylum. Of course, absolutely, 100%. Please seek safe haven here if you are in a bad situation, but do it legally so that you can stay here, so that you don't put your kids in a bad situation. This is a new documentary coming out soon. Jorge Ventura just actually hit me up, said, hey man, I would love to come on your show. I have a new documentary that just came out, and I want to talk about it. He's coming on my show next Tuesday. I'm really excited to talk to him about it and get a little bit more details about it. I want to just play you the trailer. And this is on the southern border, and it has everything to do with human trafficking, which is another problem that no one's talking about. Here's the trailer right here. Let me just turn it up a little. There we go.
These marijuana grows are either connected to Mexican cartels or high-level criminal organizations that also use human trafficking, as they've used workers to work these grows. On this grow, there was 5 Chinese nationals that were working this grow that are undocumented, don't speak any English, and are most likely were human trafficked here into the United States to work on these illegal grow ops.
Their whole purpose to come here was just to tend for the grow, and then it helps cover their costs for whoever brought them over.
Mexican cartel-related operations that have exploded in the Antelope Valley.
It doesn't stop.
We're 300 miles away from the border, and we have one of the largest illegal drug operations happening in the backyard in the high deserts of Los Angeles.
It's accelerating to the degree that we're just...
This looks like a video game. This isn't a video game. This is real. Those are assault weapons.
I mean, they are way ahead of us. We can't seem to get one step ahead of them.
So
this is the cartels. We are very, very close to driving down the freeway and seeing bodies hanging from the overpasses. That is what's coming.
you can actually watch it right now at carteldoc.com. I haven't seen it yet, but I am very interested in watching it. This is part of the reason we can't just have open borders. We need to have some sort of system to allow people to come here legally, because of course I want that. But I don't want these people coming in. I don't want humans being smuggled and trafficked and sold on the black market to be used as slaves, essentially. Because that's a reality that we need to face. Because that actually happens. It's happening today. People are being human trafficked all the time. And that is a terrible tragedy that we need to be aware of. People are acting as if having the border controlled means, you know, we're racist. It's like, no, we want to protect American citizens. We want to protect humans from being trafficked. Cartels are in our country. Here it is. There's a full documentary that just came out by the Daily Caller. And I'm going to be talking about it. We're going to have him on my show on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to having a chat with him about it. So, you know, what is the answer, right? The answer is, don't give these people money. Because guess what that's going to do? It's going to incentivize more people to try to come here with their kids. Because if they get separated from their kids, then they can sue the American government and get money for it. $500,000 per person? That's crazy. That's a ridiculous amount of money. That is a lot of money. And then they give American citizens $1,300 for the whole pandemic. Insanity.